Well, I found a video error. Well, one of your peers did. Shout out to Miss Sadie. Go Sadie. So, you know, on Monday, teachers had to be at work, and the genius that I am, and I'll turn this so you guys can see me. Look, I'm upside down. Genius. Upside down, by the way. Oh my gosh. Totally messed up a video. I did it at school. Anyway, so I have already written these notes down. Pooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because I have a video conference in 10 minutes. So, two-step equations. The goal, just like always, get the variable by itself. Guys, the goal is still the same. It doesn't matter what the equations are. Yeah, I know, we can see through this paper. Ignore that. So, it's always to get the variable by itself. But with two-step equations, we're almost working in a backwards format. And it's kind of like the order of operations backwards, which is really weird. And the more and more we work on these equations, you'll see how that applies, because we're basically undoing something to find the original, okay? So that's why it's working backwards. So the two things we need to do, it's kind of like two steps. The first step in getting the variable by itself, we need to add or subtract basically the constant to eliminate it from the side with the equation. It's normally the constant that we are adding or subtracting. Secondly, we will divide by the coefficient or multiply by the denominator. It depends on what type of equation that we're actually looking at, okay? So those are the two steps. First, add or subtract. Then second, multiply or divide. Now, I am about to show you two equations at the same time, just because I'm just using this one slip of paper and I'm bringing it down, okay? So I'm sorry, you guys. But try your best just to go along with me. Of course, I'm going to start with number 1, then I'll move to number 2. On number 1, you've got 2n plus 5 equals 13. The first thing I did was add or subtract. I've got 5 being added, so I needed to subtract him from both sides to eliminate him. Eliminated him on the left. I'm left with my 2n. On the right hand side, the difference between 13 and 5 is 8. So now I'm looking at 2n equals 8. I now need to eliminate this coefficient of 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and my final answer is 4. N equals 4. And then to check it, you would just take that, plug it in for n, multiply, add 5, get 13. Okay, on number 2, same type of layout, but some negatives thrown in there. Okay, so I wanted to get rid of my minus 7 first. The opposite of that is to add 7. So I added 7 to both sides. And now I'm left with negative 4m. Negative 4m equals negative 10, because negative 17 plus 7 gives me negative 10. Then I divide both sides by negative 4, because that's my coefficient, negative 4. So I divide both sides by negative 4. You'll notice on the right hand side, 4 does not go into 10 evenly. And we're dealing with rational numbers here. So just like we did previously, that's a fraction. That's 10 over 4. So we're going to reduce it. And the value of m is negative 5 over 2. Actually, that is not negative. Hey, just think. This hadn't been for Miss Sadie, who is phenomenal. I wouldn't have noticed that. Negative divided by negative is a positive. I'm not going to write my bad on this because I don't want to. I don't want to mess it up. Alright, I'm going to move this up. Perks of video. You can pause it. Okay, number 3 is still pretty easy. Number 4, things get complicated. I'm going to speed up a little bit because I'm down to 6 minutes before I have to activate my video conference. Alright, number 3. I took these, but I flipped it so it looks backwards for you. So that's all I did here, okay? So you've got 17. I'm going to try to cover it up so you can see it. 17 equals 2 minus 5k. Okay? So that 2, he's got to go first. So I eliminate him by subtracting him. He's a positive 2, so I got to subtract him to get rid of him. And I subtract him from both sides. Whatever you do to one, you do to the other. You guys know this. On the right-hand side, I'm left with negative 5k. He's negative. Watch out for those negatives. They will get you. See? Told you. And the difference between 17 and 2 is 15. Now I divide both sides by negative 5 because that's the coefficient I got to get rid of. And the difference between positive 15, or I'm sorry, the quotient of 15 and negative 5 is negative 3. So the value of k equals negative 3. Now I could flip this around and say k equals negative 3. It's not going to make a difference. That it only makes a difference when we're working with inequalities. Alright, number 4. Totally different over here. I have n divided by 4. It's like a fraction. Don't let it freak you out, okay? Minus 10 equals negative 6. I'm still using these guys up here, okay? Still using that. So I'm going to eliminate this minus 10 first. So I'm going to him first. I do that by adding 10 to both sides. Not a problem. These guys cancel. I didn't exactly draw this line, but I can. They cancel. Now I'm left with n divided by 4 over here. Okay? The difference between negative 6 and positive 10 is a positive 4. Now, over here, I have got to get rid of that 4. He's a denominator. So I'm dividing right now. I would multiply to get rid of him. Remember, this is like 1/4, and I'm multiplying by the reciprocal, which is 4 over 1. So they eliminate, and 4 times 4 is 16, and equals 16. Alright, here's where things get tricky. I am going to cover this one up. We're going to look at number 5. So some of you who are just copying like little maniacs. Haha, gotcha. Alright, this is where it really looks weird, because I'm taking this, but I'm extending that denominator all the way across. So here's my main problem. A plus 6 divided by 14 equals 1. Now tomorrow I'm going to have you guys do a practice paper, and there are problems like this on there. You already have that practice, so if you want to look ahead, go for it. So this is where things are tricky. I would normally add or subtract first, but I can't here because that 6 is also attached to the 14. It's like 6 over 14 plus a over 14. I've got to get rid of this 14 first because he's causing me all kinds of issues. So I want to eliminate the denominator first. I've got to multiply by the reciprocal, which is 14 over 1. They cancel each other. 1 times 14, 14. Now I'm left with a plus 6. Things are normal again. Eliminate the 6 by subtracting him from both sides, and a equals 8. On number 6, same thing. I just flipped it to make it look different. Original, negative 2 equals x minus 10, all divided by 9. I had to eliminate the denominator first. I multiplied by 9 over 1. Here, just 9. So this, the product of 9 and negative 2, gives me negative 18. And x minus 10 is on the right hand side. Looks a lot better. This is normal looking. So I need to get rid of my minus 10 by adding him to both sides. And when I do, he's gone over here. I'll kind of X him out. And then on the left hand side, negative 18 plus 10 gives me a negative 8. So x equals negative 8. Sorry about the 16-second thing going on. But hey, this is less than 9.5 minutes. Yeah.